in that top lane. And of course, there's the Zilean ban. Kind of a staple diet through the world so far.
Yeah, we're going to see him banned in pretty much every game, or we're going to see him first pick. But the Lee Sin ban from LMQ, I really like it because Loveling as a jungler, he loves to make the big plays. Lee Sin is his main pick. And he's been very inconsistent. So I feel like if you target him, remove his comfort pick, which is Lee Sin, you might get him on a champion where he can make some mistakes in the first game.
Yeah, I think so far these pick bans, they're putting a lot of pressure on the jungle and support roles here. Because Kha'Zix and Lee Sin both banned out, these guys both like early dueling junglers. And both of these supports have had a lot of success on Braum.
Question is, are we going to see a Rengar pick coming here for either LMQ or OMG? If we look back at like the regular season, we didn't see a lot of Rengar. We barely saw any Rengar, and once we did see OMG play, they always lost.
So, first picks coming through. You can see, of course, the rest of the bans. Alistair and Kha'Zix was in there. Thresh, first pick. That's a big one for me for LMQ because, of course, Tristana on the table has been a very successful pick for Vasily. We'll see whether OMG go with that one at the moment. Also with the Thresh picked in there, Janna being the flavor of the month right now, was set aside.
Question is, can Dada actually play it? I mean, I feel like LMQ with the Thresh pickup, what they do is they simply target towards Dada and try and do the same as with the Lee Sin ban. We're gonna hit your comfort picks. We know Dada is the weakest link on your team. He plays Thresh and Braum pretty much all the time. They're now taking the Thresh away here. Whoa. He's probably going to go Braum.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an obvious pick here for Braum. That's what he has had the most success on. But taking away the Tristana and Maokai in the first round here for OMG, I feel like LMQ definitely expected this Maokai pick. And they're going to run Rumble into it. We've seen this a couple times. Yep. This could mean some early pressure from No Name up top. Jarvan, very good early ganking jungler. A lot of teams have taken this Rumble Maokai matchup and turned it into feed our top lane Rumble until the point he gets level 6 where we can get dragon control.
Well, you can see, of course, Jarvan and Rumble locked in there. Big thing for me is, though, No Name obviously was questioned on the analyst desk as well. He's only got a 1-2 record on Jarvan throughout the entire summer. So this is clearly something LMQ, they came back to China to practice, possibly against OMG. So they may well have seen this one. Interesting lock-ins as well, Nami and Elise.
And they came back to a region where Jarvan was very popular. So they've been practicing against very strong Jarvan players, and Noname's been talking with a lot of these other guys that do play Jarvan. I'm very interested to see if he does max that shield second, as a lot of the Chinese junglers do.
So this pick right here, if LMQ decides to lock in the Yasuo, will be one of the most contested picks between these two teams. Even look at the comp from OMG. You already have triple knock-up if there's going to be a last pick Yasuo from Cool, and it's been a great champion from him. He's been spamming it in solo queue in Korea. He had a game against Royal Club as well. We picked up like 20 kills and died once. Like solo carried the team completely. So I feel like LMQ, they have to take the Yasuo here and make sure OMG can't just lock it in.
Yeah, he's had a ridiculous amount of success on Yasuo over North America. But really, I want to call out this Nami pickup for OMG. Dada777 is 0-4 on Nami.
Horrible.
He has a tendency to get caught out. This guy goes for deep wards, very dangerous wards, without having any support. So we'll have to see if Dada changes up his playstyle, because Nami is a very unforgiving champion to go for those wards with.
Well, Syndra was finally locked in for Xiao Weizhao, has played it twice, but that's ballsy. Letting Yasuo through against OMG. It has been banned against them 14 times in the summer, and for good reason, because Cool is a very, very good player on Yasuo.
Again, the first few times he actually played it, it was kind of lackluster, but then he just really practiced a lot. He spammed it again in Korean solo queue. It's his most played champion. He dominated on it in the playoffs, and into a Syndra pick here. The lane matchup itself, Syndra can definitely harass him a lot and poke him a lot from range, but it is so hard to actually kill him because of the wind wall and because of the fact you have to respect an Elise coming in and then a knock-up landing from Yasuo, and you are dead instantly.
Yeah, I have to say, Cool's Yasuo is the best example of hard work playing off. He took this champion, didn't have success on it, and he put in the time. So much time in Challenger solo queue in Korea to hone his skills. And he came back and he had like 20 kills in one game, pulling it back out.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how this one's going to work out. We heard Doublelift talking about, obviously, the All-Star match when they played with Cool as well, because he came in as that substitute. I remember Froggen talking about how mechanically great Cool was, and the fact that he's on a Yasuo. We saw how good Yasuo players can be last week.
Let's just be real here. Cool is the best mid laner in China by far. He went one-on-one against Faker last year at Worlds and actually held his own ground here. He is a fantastic player.
I have to say, too, the Yasuo versus Syndra matchup, cool. He's going to have a lot of options for dodging the Syndra stun. If you miss that Syndra stun, you open yourself wide open to aggressive with Yasuo plus Elise combo.
Yeah, some interesting combos. We'll see how it works out. And, of course, now that the picks are locked in, who do you guys think will take this first game? Tweet us at LOL Esports with either hashtag LMQwin or hashtag OMGwin. And we'll be checking the responses a little bit later. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 in Singapore. The World Championships on the road. Taipei was a fantastic week. Let's see what Singapore brings us as Group C and D get underway. LMQ starting out as the blue team up against OMG on the red team. Will we see any fancy level 1 plays?
So the thing is, LMQ do have a tendency to go for level 1 plays, and they do have one sweeper starting here for No Name. So that opens up the possibility of trying to start on an enemy buff and using the sweeper to catch it out.
Well, let's look at the lanes here for LMQ. They have the Rumble pick. They want to have Rumble in a one-on-one against the Maokai. Not because Rumble is going to destroy Maokai one-on-one in the early stages. He needs to get his haunting guys before he can really take control of the lane. But because you want to make sure you can get your early haunting guys, you can be ready for the first or second dragon fight and get your mid-game power spike. The problem is, you have Twitch in the bottom lane. And Twitch is not a very strong laner, so if you go for 2v2 lanes here, it should be in favor of OMG, which can be very, very hard for LMQ to handle.
Oh, more coming around.
The shield is down!
Yes. Just a standard basic attack from Xiao Zhao. Nothing coming from that aggression. Ward cleared off, nothing given.
Really, the most, you're talking about this, the Rumble matchup, the most important thing for the Rumble early is the experience. As soon as they can get him to that level 6, then it gives them so much power to force those early team fights that we actually do see from both of these teams. So I think they are probably going to leave him up on that top side.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they want to have him in one-on-one. It's more the fact, can Vasily and more down this bottom lane, can they actually handle what San and Data7 can do against him with Tristana and Nami, which is a very, very solid lane, 2v2.
But San is known as the weaker laner.
Of course.
And being a little bit more passive. The fact he's on Tristana, I wonder if that's what LMQ are gambling on, where they're just going with the fact that, okay, we're against a fairly passive duo. We should be able to stick this one out fine with Twitch and Thresh.
It might be the tactic. I mean, Vasily is actually AD carry in Europe and NA. If you look at both regions together, he's the AD carry with the highest CS of like 10 minutes and 20 minutes. So he's great in lane, great at farming. If he can manage to survive this 2v2 lane, the Rumble one-on-one in top lane should be able to pay off for LMQ.
I just want to point out here, whenever you're watching a Yasuo play in the mid, keep your eyes on the animation canceling. The cleanest animation canceling here so far from Cool. You save a lot of time and you output so much more damage.
Well, speaking of damage, back and forth down this bottom lane. But Xiao Zhao in the mid against Cool. Cool ready to pounce on this one. You can see he's got that wind built up, but Xiao Zhao manages to dodge it out. If you are just joining us, of course, this is a North American LCS team versus a Chinese LPL matchup. Both number 3 in their region.
All right, so we did hit that 3-minute mark. The double bust for both junglers. Eyes towards mid. Because Cool is playing fairly aggressively here, they need some wards to back up his aggressive play or some jungle support. Leveling comes by, drops a ward, and he's there just in case they need a counter gank.
And notice how he didn't actually run top lane here, because he also had to respect the fact No Name could be sitting top lane ready fire command because he's pushing the lane. So we have the same setup in the top lane as we have in the mid lane, just for LMQ pushing out there. No Name could have been there for potential counter gank. We might see Loveling try and look towards top lane. He loves to go top lane, like him and going. They are the 2 shot callers and they love to make plays together.
Good stun from Xiao Zhao there, catching Cool out. That slowed his pace down a little bit. Xiao Zhao winning in terms of farm down towards the bottom lane. Pressure's been very much on Vasily and more. They've been pushed back for a fair period, which we'd expect early on.
No Name's looking to take advantage of this aggressive Cool. Cool has been looking for trades over and over.
He's going sliding in. Will he catch on towards him? Cool's taking a lot of damage here, but Xiao Zhao doesn't fancy following. He saw Loveling come around the side and they do disengage. Loveling putting some basic attacks down, but they will both step away.
And as soon as Cool, he flashed towards his own Wraith camp and not to his own tower, LMQ knew there was a jungler nearby here, so wisely enough, also with Xiao being out of mana, they just back away, don't want to risk face checking into someone like
saw that
Lovely.
ward disappear. What? Maybe he wasn't watching his screen. Because
they pinged him at least in the bottom lane, so they know he's down bottom lane now from OMG's side.
They aren't stepping away though. They're playing this one very cool. San with more pushing in towards him. Now he's going to rocket jump away. That death sentence will not land, and No Name's time is wasted. And while that was all happening, immediately Lovely moved in, took all the jungle camps.
Exactly. He gets information on where No Name is, takes that opportunity to invade the opposite side of the jungle. Very good job here by Loveling.
And it's really what we often see with OMG. They have like this trinity up in his top side with the two solo laners and Loving, and he will always be on the top side of the map, so he can help his solo laners. Force a flash from Aquaman as well here. He got some jungle farm. I mean, just look for Loveling to try and snowball his solo laners every single time you watch OMG play. And then it's all about San and Dada down his bottom lane surviving himself.
Oh, I have to say, he's doing more than surviving right now.
Again, that's the matchup 2v2 we talked about.
Shoving it into the turret. There is a large amount of CS for Vasily to get at that turret, but he has to be able to last hit it. Up mid again, the camp here for No Name. He did slide into that bush, by the way, so this ward did not see him enter the bush. But you can see how Cool has adjusted his playstyle.
Oh, death sentence lands this time, and Dale do get the flay down on towards him. Vasily cautiously puts some damage down on towards him. San reacts well and quickly goes for the spot.
And we have to keep an eye on this dragon here in a few minutes, because OMG has a combo which you would call like a fight comp, where you want to go in, you want to contest dragons, you want to contest buffs because you don't want to fall behind. You don't have enough wave play in your team to fall behind and then come back in the game. So you have to be able to engage. Down his bottom lane, both junglers.
Flashes straight in towards it, put the flay down, but Lovely, they weren't expecting that response, and No Name having to slide away from this one. OMG in the right position at the right time. LMQ, if it wasn't for that jungler, could well have taken a kill here. The two top laners just brawling with each other, going and Ackerman, no doubt, a fight they had many moons ago back in China.
And again, Loveling, he wards for mid, he invades the top side jungle, one gank top, he gets a flash, then he's right back down bottom for the counter gank. This guy's pathing, he's very, very efficient.
And up at this top lane here, so we do have Horny guys completed very, very soon by Aquaman. Next time actually goes back to base. And my point before with OMG having this like fight comp where you want to contest buffs, you want to fight early on, you want to try and snowball your lead, you cannot afford to fall behind. That's where this Rumble pick from LMQ can really shine, because you normally don't want a team fight, or sorry, dragon fight against a Rumble in the mid game where he really shines and his big power spike is.
Second blue spawns here. Looks like Loveling will take this one for himself. Always nice to have a Yasuo as your mid laner. They don't need it. That will give a big boost for him as far as his experience. He's already ahead of No Name, by the way, because he was much more efficient in his route, and he was farming on the way to all of his ganks, whereas No Name spent a lot of time sitting in bushes. So Loveling here increasing the lead that he has over No Name. Has hit that level 6 mark, full level.
We'll see whether they head in towards it. Xiao continuing his farm in the bottom. These two bottom lanes, nobody's gone back. San hooked in this time with the death sentence of more. The flay does land, but Vasily doesn't answer the aggression of his support and instead steps away.
So we saw Dada here actually save his bubble because he wanted to see if Vasily wanted to react and go aggressive and then try and bubble him. Because there's not a lot of other options other than like.
And look at this call here, Loveling. They're timing the blue handoff with a gank down bottom. He went without stealing his or without taking his own red, called him down bottom because they knew he didn't have any wards, and now starting the dragon. This is a little bit late though. They already handed off that blue.
And LMQ had pinged this one a moment ago, so they were prepared for it. No Name's already heading down, and you see more come around. There's the teleport into the top corner. Ackerman's going to join the fight. Dada not quite hooked in by more, but LMQ will pick up the dragon here. They're going to move it towards it. OMG collapsing around the side.
Look at the mini-map here. Vasily's not there yet. It's only 4 members from LMQ so far, and everyone from OMG is already in position.
That dragon very low. You can see Ackerman moving in. Xiao, No Name trying to get close, and OMG disengaged from the dragon. Again, it's Vasily flanking around the side onto Lovely. Lovely separated from his team here. They're going to catch the slowdown on towards him. They have the vision. Has to flash away. Can Moore get close enough to land the hook? That's the question. We're going to see the flash stun. Repels away from him, but he's got nowhere to drop down. And first blood comes in for Vasily.
And now they've got control over the dragon pit. Let's see if they actually decide to go for it. This 4-man OMG squad can still poke them at it. No giant summoners used. They still have the ulti rumble.
Without the smite available, this is going to be very tricky for OMG. You've got to feel, but that 2-man bubble followed by Cole's ultimate will be enough. They get the exhaust down on him, but it doesn't matter. Ackerman goes down. More drops to the side. Going tanking up the dragon, taken very low. Vasily fancies this one. He comes around the side. Cole catches on him. Vasily steals the dragon, and OMG disengage.
He still has smite up too. Loveling. Oh, he was dead. He was dead. They didn't have
wasn't there. It was just straight up 80 carry against mid laner. Vasily managed to steal it here. So even though 2 kills went over to OMG, LMQ got the dragon and they got the first one. Let's see it again. This is a perfect engage. That bubble into Yasuo.
Great job there, knocking up. Good combo. And Rumble was able to get his ultimate down before he died, but it didn't turn around this team fight. Let's take a look at this burst from Vasily. It's over Cool. Oh, Cool tries to use his Cool. Q.
He's cool.
Fantastic stuff. So LMQ come out on top, despite the fact the gold is equal between the two. 2 kills versus 1 dragon. Well, 2-1 if you count the whole engagement.
And remember before here, OMG actually timed the dragon start really well because first of all, LMQ had just done their blue buff and Vasily had gone back to base. He wasn't there for the start. It was 5 members from OMG ready to take the dragon. They started and instantly disengaged away from it and actually let LMQ jump towards them.
So the initial plan from OMG looked like a gank down bottom, but since the gank didn't pull out because Vasily had gone back to base, they changed plans very quickly. They've called an audible play, and they're like, okay, we're going to try and take dragon instead. And they got the teleport out, but then LMQ actually forced the fight.
They could have just hard engaged. I mean, they had the Maokai teleport. They could have jumped straight for LMQ when there was only 4 members. If they knew Vasily was back in base, they could have just engaged straight in. But Going actually delayed his teleport in his top lane. He waited and waited and waited until the actual fight started, and then he jumped in.
That's an advantage of having an invisible AD carry. Never quite sure if he's gone all the way back.
He was very close to being caught by that Aqua Prison as well. He just sidestepped away from it. Saw it coming, realized, of course, that Cool would pounce. Pink Ward being cleared out by OMG. LMQ will lose that one out. Moore's going to come around the side again. Vasily going aggressive this time around. Forced back, though. Does put some pressure on towards them. Everyone has gone back to buy, of course. Vasily building up towards that Blade of the Rinking Wall. Infinity Edge looks like it will be the first item for Sam.
And also just again, looking back at the fight, we see OMG what they want to do with their comp. They want to make sure they don't fall behind. They want to contest these buffs as we talked about. They felt confident, even though if you look at the champions on the side of LMQ with the Rumble pick, Syndra as well, extremely strong in these like these mid-game dragon fights. OMG were not afraid to take the fight anyway because they know you have to go for these 5.
Whoa!
Bottom lane, Moore.
That's a mistake. Moore goes in and pays the price for it. Wasn't expecting the jungler to be there, and now this may not be over yet. They're going to push on towards Vasily. No Name cuts off Data as he tries to push towards him. Pressure still going down, and they're forced away from the tower.
Second time that Loveling preys on the aggressive bottom lane. He's in position for the counter gank. They're aware Vasily's going to try and get some early aggressive moves. LMQ called their jungler down to start off the fight, but again, OMG turned it around.
And while we had some action in the bottom lane, Xiao in this mid lane actually one-on-one killed Cool on Yasuo. We didn't get to see it. Bottom lane though, more
action. No Name killed off there. Vasily does manage to counter and get one shot. More comes in, throws out the lantern and pulls Vasily to safety. It was a 1-for-1 down the bottom.
1-for-1 down bottom, but yeah, you talked about that mid kill. He also got the turret. The constant pressure from Xiao, farming hard in that mid lane. Not necessarily roaming around, but dominating in his own lane.
And that was a big mistake by Cool. The fact he ends up dying one-on-one, lose his tower. So we're just going to see the fight. So first, nice stun. We keep talking about how Yasuo has these abilities to block the ulti, to block the stun as well. Whenever the wall is gone, and if you manage to land a stun with Syndra, you can just destroy Yasuo one-on-one.
But all of the talk about that mid lane, it's Xiao that strikes first in a straight-up 1v1. And as you said, if you land that stun at the right time, it will pay dividend for you. So Xiao, that's going to boost his confidence. Of course, looking at Cool, he needs his items. He's only got the static shiv right now, but that's a good start. There is a pause coming in here.
All right, well, since we've got some time here, let's look at the power curves of the two different team compositions. Currently, Rumble's got the flat penetration that he needs to have a big impact, and Vasily just completed his Blade of the Ruined King. So they have two of their very big mid-game item power specs for both of these champion power curves. Whereas over on the side of Tristana, yes, you've completed your first big item, but it's just that single Infinity Edge. There's no extra crit to go along with it.
And that's the thing for OMG here. They need to buy some more time, but they're still going to go for the fights because they have to. You cannot just sit back, fall behind when you have no wave clear. It will make it too easy then for LMQ to simply control the entire map, walk in with your Rumble, add and the Syndra, put down the Rumble ult behind the tower, and suddenly you force OMG to back away and you can just pick it up for free. A good thing for OMG is the fact that you do have Tristana, who is one of the safest AD carries against the Twitch. It's very hard for Twitch to actually jump and kill her because you can just jump away and shoot him back.
Pretty sure they're LMQ chants coming out of the fans here. North American LCS being supported. You can see the TSM shirts on the front there. I'm not surprised by that one. It's pretty standard everywhere you go in the world these days. Of course, we have got a slight pause at the moment. They're just having a chat issue between each other. So obviously that's fairly crucial in a team game such as League of Legends. So they're just waiting to sort that one out.
I'm just looking at items as well here. Support items. We're actually going to see early Mikhails coming in from Dada on Nami here, so I'm sure Crepper will be very proud because, again, look at the side of LMQ. You have the Thresh Hook and you have the stun from Syndra. The Mikhails will save your life, and you need to make sure one of your carries don't get caught out of position.
They definitely do have to protect Yasuo and Tristana. One thing I definitely need to caution OMG against is if they are going to do what you're talking about and contest these objectives, be very careful about their movements through the jungle. This LMQ team has a ridiculous amount of line damage. If you feed in through one of these small corridors in the jungle, this is the perfect team from LMQ to obliterate you, and that could be the whole game.
Yeah.
If they win a 5-man ace in the mid-game jungle, LMQ can run and take that mid-game power spike all the way to the Nexus.
Which is why we're probably not going to see OMG actually invade in on the buffs here. I mean, they're going to wait for Dragon to spawn, set up some good wards around it, and then we can see them look for a fight. But they have to be so careful because of the Rumble pick, because, of course, Twitch with the Blade already completed here. So I expect OMG to actually try and sit back, keep ganking with Loveling, and just try and farm a bit more in the lanes. Get your second item completed on your Maokai, on your Yasuo, and then you can start really fighting. And of course, Tristana, who wants to get past a weak mid-game.
And let's talk about that quick bottom lane, because that's where a lot of the action has been happening. And of course, San at 2-0-2 right now. It's a big deal in the early lane phases for Tristana. 2-0-0 for Vasily as well.
Yeah, it's been fun to see how
Speaking of Vasily,
how Loveling actually was sneaking in the mid lane. That's nobody though.
But it's a good attempt. He was looking for the mid laner there.
Still, it's been fun to see Loveling put so much focus on the bottom lane because he knows they need to get San ahead and they want to shut down Vasily on this Twitch because he's such a dominant AD carry and LMQ often play around him a lot.
I think it's really good research here from OMG. Just
for sure.
Them researching LMQ and them just knowing this team pretty well anyway. I mean, going to China, LMQ had already lined up scrims with OMG before they saw the group stages. This was one of the teams that they were very much looking forward to scrimming and practicing against because they're very close. But as soon as the group stages came out, obviously, they had to cancel those plans.
So, mid lane grouping, 30 seconds on that Dragon. All of the pings heading down that way, and LMQ looking to try and get a pick on towards Loveling here. Oh! No name flashes straight into the cocoon. That could be vital. They're going to turn their attentions instead and push them in.
And just a little trick for solo queue here. What Loveling did was very, very smart. He knew there was a ping ward in the bush. He didn't walk into the bush to clear it. He put his own ward so he can stand with range, safely clear it, and be ready for a potential gank from LMQ here. So smart play putting down the ward and nice reaction time. No flash for no name for the next Dragon fight here.
Quick wind wall there from Cole to block out that stun. That may well have caught him out. Zhao Zhao absolutely could have pounced on it. Dragon is now up. There is a ward from OMG, so they have vision of this one, which is why you can see them all starting to group.
All right, now the options here for LMQ to try and funnel OMG through one of these jungle passages. They're cutting off all of the vision so that it makes it a very, very dangerous move for LMG to come through.
And OMG didn't time this Dragon correct. Data 7 was actually recalling 20 seconds before it spawned, which allowed LMQ to walk inside the Dragon area and get full control. First look onto Loveling here. Next one, he might die.
So the hook on Loveling wasn't followed up. The stun came through from Zhao, but didn't quite land, so that's going to be a cooldown for a small moment. You can see they've got their wards in towards that death push. forced to push in and try and react to this one. Got to be so careful those Aqua Prisons don't land again.
They've got Tristana. They're trying to use that explosive shot, shove mid lane as quickly as possible, and then come back to contest.
Dragon being taken very low here. It's going to be a smite fight. The wave's going to cut them off. It's the two junglers in the pit, but it's Dada 7-7 that's going to get caught out. New Name separates there on towards Lovely. They lock him down. The Dragon was stolen by OMG in the meantime. He will go down and pay the price, but it is all of the gold going OMG's way.
So LMQ focus on the fight outside of Dragon, and No Name tries to jump in and duel Loveling. Loveling has the presence of mind to actually take the Dragon, but it meant that he lost the duel because he was focusing his damage on getting that smite.
They need to react here. LMQ are pushing hard in this mid lane, and there's nobody cutting around the side. We are going to see Cool come around, but they're getting a big chunk of damage down. Here comes Go.
Oh!
There's the ultimate once again from Cool. Slides on through the exhaust down on him fast. Is it going to be enough? Vasily locked out, and the Lancer pulls it to safety. Cool's taken down. Ackerman burning through Going. He's forced away, and Maokai cannot take the hits. Flash from Ackerman avoids the Aqua Prison, and LMQ get out. It was a 3-for-0 in the end, but the Dragon went to OMG.
And all these kills here, it falls back on the fact that OMG, they didn't time the Dragon correctly. They had to be there in time, get ward control. Let's just see if they can actually kill Xiao here. They can't. But anyway, this Dragon was all about getting ward control from OMG, so LMQ couldn't set it up and start landing Syndra stuns where OMG couldn't see them and get some easy picks and control the Dragon here. But they didn't time it correctly. Dada 7, he went back to base 20 seconds before the Dragon spawned instead of be there to ward.
Let's look at this re-engage though, because this saves OMG's second turret. This is the objective answer LMQ were trying to get. The Maokai, Yasuo, Nami combo here, ridiculous. OMG also come out of this re-engage up some extra summoner spells. They got 3 more flashes out of it and the exhaust out of it. The exhaust is going to be a very crucial part of LMQ's team fight. So even though OMG did lose Cool in that, they saved their turret and they got a bunch of summoners down for the next team fight. We know that there are going to be more fights.
Oh, there will be way more fights, but we do really see how OMG is weaker in this mid game as well. I mean, San in the last fight on Tristana, he did 0 damage. He walked in, hit once, and then just walked away. He doesn't have enough damage. His mid game on Tristana is too weak at the moment, and Ackerman, Xiao, and Vasily together are just destroying OMG in these fights at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Not only does he not have the damage from items built up yet, but he doesn't have his range stacked up from experience yet. Tristana really needs that, especially San, who likes to play more in the back of the team fight.
Well, they are forgetting about San down this bottom lane. Ackerman's going to come down and defend it, force him away with this wave clear. Meanwhile, the reverse is happening in the top for LMQ as they take down the second turret of the game for LMQ.
And while we are talking about how LMQ is winning the fights, the fact Loveling could steal the Dragon beforehand and only Dada 7 actually went down because he got hooked. He should never have died. The whole plan from OMG was actually to use the wave from Dada 7 to cause some confusion, and then Loveling would go in to steal it. Because you saw the rest of the members from OMG. They ran away instantly. And that was smart because you never want to try and steal the Dragon and then take the fight at the same time. It completely removes your jungler and makes it a 4 versus 5. So they just wanted to try and steal it. Sadly, Dada 7 got hooked and ended up dying for it. But because the gold is so even and OMG's comp is so good in the late game and outscale LMQ here, it's still looking good for OMG.
Exactly. OMG, as long as they can get out of these mid-game fights with just trades, then they're very much happy with that. Rod of Ages was just completed, plus they're still waiting for Trist, and Yasuo has almost got his second item.
LMQ not in a position to defend this one. If OMG wanted to push there, they could have just taken that turret. Finally, LMQ roll around, but it has lost them a lot of time. You can see it is going to be San heading towards the top, so that's going to be a top tower going down for OMG once he gets around there.
So OMG playing it safe here. They actually had no wards around the mid lane just before now where they walked in and placed it as 5 members, so they didn't want to push up onto the tower and risk LMQ flanking around with both the Jarvan and of course the Twitch popping out of stealth here. So OMG playing it safe. Don't want to go for the risky mid lane at this point. Go top lane, place a few deep wards, and then take the top tower, which you have already pushed in, and you know the enemy team isn't nearby.
And they're continuing to push. Look at OMG, all of their movements. They see Vasily down the bottom here. They're shoving around towards the inner turret right now. Gogoin's there. Dada's coming around the side. San pushing along. Let's just leave the mid lane open. Cool will take that one down, and OMG is starting to pull LMQ around the map.
This is very bad for LMQ. This is exactly what OMG want. They want to trade turrets in the mid game here. They're the ones that stand to benefit most from these influxes of global gold for their team.
Exactly. Every single time they can trade objective gold, it's a win for OMG. LMQ at this point here, for them, because they already have some of the outer turrets gone, which was why we saw Vasily stay in this bottom lane, it's all about getting the deep wards now, and you have to look for picks. You need to close out this game. You cannot afford to go full late game against a Yasuo, Maokai, and a Tristana.
That being said, LMQ have a very strong AoE. If they can land everything.
Sidestep from Sand, gets away from the stun. 5 members of LMG up here. They're going to go on towards him. OMG going to get caught out. No name. Has he done enough though? He's going to have to try and flash out of that one. He gets taken down. Cool. Wind wall blocks everything but that one. You can see where Xiao locks on towards him. Sand going to take it so low. Lovely's going to get locked up. Ackerman will take him down. He's going to drop. That's a double for Xiao. Can they turn and take any objectives?
And that is exactly what Jarvan's whole job is in this team comp. He's the sacrificial lamb. Cataclysm is just supposed to keep people there to land all the AoE. They're turning this into a very early Baron though. This is still very dangerous. We'll see if
taking a lot of damage here.
San and both Dada 777 are very low. Just the threat of wards over the side though do scare them off. LMQ seem to have wasted this little opening that they gained. Maybe they can shove a minion wave up. Dragon just appeared.
Can run straight down to Dragon here. They should be able to take it because they force OMG to stay. Let's just see the fight here. It's a beautiful engage. Grumble ult onto multiple members, and then we just see No Name jump in. He knows he's going to die, but it's all about jumping in, hoping there's a lantern for more. It's not in time, or he doesn't get out in time, and the wind wall does actually block half the ulti from Xiao
down,
but the other half just kills him.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for Cool. Does time out. But yeah, picking up the extra kills there for LMQ. Did award them the Dragon.
Is the Lantern going to be enough? He's not going to take it. He gets taken down. That's Xiao drop. Look at Sam leaping in on towards the tower. The tower hits on him. He gets locked down. Maul doesn't escape. No Name picks up a kill as well off the side. Lovely flashes away. Vasily found him. He gets locked by the cocoon. Can he run away from this one? While it's all happening, going in.
Didn't even
No
get
Name
it.
goes in for the pancake. They're losing the top tower though. They need to go across and deal with it.
So OMG here, they wanted to force LMQ to react in the mid lane so they could push the top tower at the same time here. While they got the first kill, instantly LMQ, 5 members, managed to get revenge, get 2 more kills. Vasily keep picking up kills on this Twitch here. He's going to be so fed. I mean, Ghostblade already completed.
All right, let's take another look at this. The missed stun. We talked about that in the laning phase. If Syndra ever misses her stun, then it's going to be very dangerous for her. San, as you said, jumps in. This tower still has about 4 hits left on it, and LMQ are happy to fight under it. Teleports do both come in. Canceled one of them for OMG because that turret didn't go down. And Vasily, as we know, No Name comes in for the, what you call, pancake?
And didn't get it. Xiao here actually had to flash because Cool stood on the lantern so he couldn't click it. It was really smart and he flashed away. But then Sand, for some reason, is like, I'm just gonna jump in. I believe I can get a reset. It was terrible play, to be honest, because he jumps in and ended up just dying here and giving an easy kill over to LMQ.
So there was a change where you can still click on the lantern. You can't 100% block it, but it does make it difficult. And he didn't want to take the chance, it looked like. As soon as you walk away from it, you don't want to.
Even if it's like
you don't want to go back.
Can you still click it?
Yeah.
Well, this game is very much all about the AD carriage right now. 4-0-4 and 4-1-3. Both Vasily and San playing fantastically well. LMQ grouping as a 5, but they are pushing up against a 5-man OMG. Everybody in defensive line here, and look across the side there, Lovely, looking to try and cap somebody out.
Yeah, all LMQ needs here is wards on the side, on the flank here, so they can spot OMG trying to flank around them and just keep pressing up in this mid lane. There's not a lot of wave clear. Only Tristana is there to clear the waves, and maybe Cool if he can get a tornado off.
Yeah, I think it's all about LMQ using the terrain to their advantage so that they can better lay these ultimates down. The zone control is everything for LMQ right now. They need to be able to funnel this area of effect because OMG, they've hit their power. They're ready to fight now. This Rod of Ages is fully stacked. They have the 2 item combos.
Oh, the hook. It's only going. That's not the target they want. Ackerman takes a fair bit of burst there. Sand forces him away. And the Cocoon lands on more. Will they go for it? It is only the support. Look, there's the hook. Lumberton gets separated from his team. Going comes in, and still Cool waiting to find his ultimate. Who can he land it on? Sand forced away from this one. There's the ultimate coming in, but it doesn't do enough for Cool. The death sentence lands from more. He gets the hook down. Sand jumps away with a poison, finishes him off with Vasily. Stun comes out and going. And OMG are dropping all across the map. It's a 4-0 to LMQ.
And look how hard it is for OMG to actually engage the fight here. They have to run straight towards the Rumble. Ackerman's ult in this fight here. Once we get the replay, it's on to 4 people. It was perfect. And LMQ, they kite back, they get the hook, they get the first kill, and manage to take the fight, even though we had some great ultis coming in from OMG.
10 more seconds here left on Yasuo. They should be able to get the inhibitor and retreat before they get stopped. Dada gonna try and do his best here to slow them down, but there are minion waves on that top side and the bottom that they need to clear out. So OMG's chance for a rebuttal is very, very slim here. Pretty much an all-around big pickup for LMQ.
And while OMG had started to get their second items completed, Cool actually didn't have his Infinity yet. Let's see it again. Look how hard it is for OMG to actually engage onto LMQ. They can easily just kite back because OMG is not able to either flash engage or flank around them. And then the ulti from Ackerman is the MVP ult here.
And look how little damage San is able to put out. That's the second Cinder Stun that hit him. He had to walk back over the Rumble ultimate. He gets maybe 4 auto attacks off this whole fight. And then Ackerman finishes him off with the flash.
And he would have been able to completely clean up the fight here. There were so many low members, but because of all the long-range damage he'd taken, he was forced to back away, actually end up dying as well, because he flashes away too late here. He could have cleaned up that fight if he had been healthy, but too much damage from range.
He is too low level. He doesn't have the range he needs. Vasily just pops his ult, and he's able to spray and pray the entire, or rat-a-tat-tat, the entire team fight. Whereas San, as we said, doesn't get off as many autos as he would like.
You know, all the focus we've had in and around AD carries, the mid lane is a gigantic difference right now. Xiao Zhao, 6-1-3 on that Syndra, whereas Cool, all of the hype over him, 1-4-4. He's finally got his item, so we'll see whether he can turn those stats around.
And we just have to give full credit to Xiao Wei Xiao on this Syndra pick here. He's been landing so many
he's going for it
in this fight. On to Sani from Vasily.
San caught out, rat-a-tat-tat, he's running down. He flashes for it. Teleport comes in, Moore is ready. Cancel straight out there. Going doesn't want any of it. There were super minions with him. And now, with the Baron up, they're moving towards it.
The mid-game lane pickups from Twitch. Beautifully executed from LMQ. Vasily using that champion extensively in North America, but now they're on this Baron. They didn't see that ward, by the way, so OMG no.
Oh, they're going to come around. They're going to force onto Lovely. This is the jungler they wanted. Is it enough to trap him down there? I'm not too sure. They focus on him. They will knock him down. Ackerman comes in and Vasily goes godlike at 7-0-7.
And LMQ is playing that comp so well. They keep getting these picks here. They keep a great wards to spot where OMG is moving on the map. And they are strong at this point still. They still have the item advantage and they use it. They never give OMG a chance to just sit back and farm.
Another 3-man stun comes out from Xiao Wei Xiao. He's going to be focused on. Pops the Sonya's hourglass. The wave comes through. Is it enough to lock? Cool up. The exhaust goes down on him. He gets dropped as well. The Baron was picked up in the meantime by LMQ. Going's got nowhere to run. He will be picked off. That's going to be Vasily finding another one. No Nate comes in. San's reset. There's super minions on the base. San rocket jumping away. That is a Nexus turret going down there, ladies and gentlemen. There's super minions beating the hell out of OMG right now.
They've got 30 seconds here to work with, and they can pressure more. Another bottom turret possibly could be taken here from LMQ or the Dragon. There's so many options. They could just clean up the map right now. Everybody in OMG has to be on super minion duty.
And what we see again also from OMG is once you fall behind with a comp like this where you're forced to team fight all the time, you cannot sit and defend your towers. It is too easy for the other team to control the map, to siege up on your tower. Even with a Twitch, LMQ could force OMG to stand there and defend. 5 members, as we saw earlier, win the fight as well. Now they start getting the picks too. It is looking so good for LMQ here. And at this point for OMG, your only chance is actually to set up a trap in your own jungle or in one of the side lanes and hope a guy from LMQ would just face check you and you can kill him and buy time.
Yeah, they have to catch LMQ separated because LMQ have done too good of a job with their area control. They have so much area effect damage. they've been able to take out multiple people from OMG at the same time, and there's been no response.
And remember all the action in bottom lane. In the laning phase, Loving was down there twice to set up some kills for his team, yet they never managed to kill Vasily. While he's very far behind in farm, he's been getting all the kills in these team fights together with Xiao.
The other bonus about this LMQ team is they have so many damage sources that even if there's a good Yasuo combo, as long as Vasily, Ackerman, and Xiao are standing apart from each other, then there's still going to be constant AoE coming out from LMQ.
Inhibitor goes down, and LMQ with the Baron buff continue to roll on through OMG's base. You really got to wonder which LMQ was going to turn up today, and it seems to be the one that's dominated the North American League outside of the playoffs. Once the playoffs, maybe the nerves, they shook them off against Curse. They managed to get that final third spot, and it appears that they have turned up with a heck of a lot of confidence in game one.
There's really been some key moments in the game. Also Xiao killing Cool in the mid lane one-on-one.
Yeah.
And taking the mid tower was huge for him. LMQ opened up the map. Now you can go and get some deep wards like they used. And also there's the fact that Syndra got so far ahead. You got a very early hourglass as well for Xiao. So suddenly you couldn't just kill him in team fights as well.
The North American regular season MVP definitely showing up on the international stage here. Oh, good hook.
Oh, hook on Sand, the AD carry doesn't quite get locked in. The Aqua Prison on more is enough. The tower hits go through, but again, nobody pulls the trigger on OMG just yet.
That is crucial disengage down for OMG. Now they have no more answers.
Going hooked in, Death Sentence lands. There goes jumping on towards him. Xiao locks on towards him. Look at the stun damage that comes out from Xiao. Locking straight on towards him. The Equalizer cuts them apart, and Vasily gets himself a second 2 kills. Cool is locked up. The exhaust goes on towards him. He is helpless against his LMQ team. That's just going to be Sad jumping away to safety. But LMQ with the super minions will push on through and take game one in the group stage over OMG. Sad locked up and goes down towards the end. There's the ace. There's the game. LMQ win game one.
And congratulations. Very well executed composition right there from LMQ. Just a couple of hiccups early. The counter ganks from OMG were great. Loveling in place several times at the right time to prey on that aggressive bottom lane. But in the end, not enough. The comp from LMQ just comes together.
Yes, I love the research and strategy LMQ used in this game here. OMG as a team, they will always contest Dragons. They will always contest Barons. They want to play these team fighting comps.